Hello everyone, and welcome to the second installment of Christopher Allen Designs. I want to thank you all so much for the kind words and for the views that you gave me on my first video, so I wanted to get one up as soon as possible for our second, installment. Today what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be teaching how to cut fabric and actually using it to iron on with a bonding material to other fabrics. My challenge today is actually a onesie. I'm gonna have a new niece or nephew coming up, and I wanted to go ahead and make those 1 month, 2 month, 3 month, and so on onesies for the little one. I did see a lot of these online on different craft sites, and they can be pretty pricey whenever you purchase them there. So I wanted to see what our Cricut machine, and whether it be the Explorer or any other Cricut machine, can actually do to go ahead and make one of these for us out of fabric. So I'm going to show you two different techniques today. I'm going to show you actually how to use a Cricut cartridge to do this and use an image, and I'm also going to show you how to go ahead and pull an image offline. I know that I did show how to pull an image offline, from my first video, but I am going to show in this video how to use an image as well, because I want to show that there is some versatility, that you can use all of those Cricut cartridges that you've purchased over the years, and then you can also, with the new Explorer machine, use any image that you would like. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to head over to the computer, but before we do that, I am going to give us our list of supplies that we'll need today. Thank you, and let's get started. Okay everyone, for this project we're going to need onesies, two different but coordinating fabrics, heat bond transfer, an iron, and scissors or a cutting board. Okay everyone, we are back at the computer, and we are going to start by actually finding our image. That's the first thing that we are going to do here, because we are going to use two different techniques here. I'm going to show you how to do it with a Cricut cartridge, and I'm also going to show you how to do it with something that we find online. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just jump to Google, and I'm going to type in, let's just say giraffe silhouette. And once we pull that up, we're going to go again to images like we reviewed yesterday, and we are going to find a giraffe silhouette that we like. There are quite a few here. I found a couple of different ones earlier, but you can choose any giraffe silhouette that you would like. And so I really like these animals that I found earlier. So we're going to go ahead and again click view image, and we're going to go ahead and we are going to save these. Now I did already save these. I saved them as jungle animals, but again we're going to save these in our Cricut stuff folder so we know exactly where we can go and get those later. So now what we're going to do, since we found our image that we want to use, is we're going to close out of here, and we're going to go ahead into our Cricut design space, and we're going to we're already in the canvas here. I did show on the first video how to get here. You're just going to click on that blue box and you'll be here. Now to start everything out, we want a circle. There are tons of free circles, so we're going to go ahead and just use this one from our Cricut Craft Room Basics, and we're going to select, we're going to go ahead and select that. Now again, for this shirt we do not need this circle, this shadow on the background, so we are not going to use that. Now my onesies are very small. I'm actually doing them for the 0 to 3 month right now, and then I will progressively, make more. So what we're going to do with this circle is we want this circle to be somewhere around, I'd say probably about 4 inches is what we're looking for. So we'll go ahead and we'll hit the edit. And again, as long as this is closed, this lock, we are good to go. We'll hit the 4, and that's going to make us a 4 by 4. Now what I would suggest is using this little tool down here on the left hand side to zoom in so that we can actually see this a little bit better while we're working. So the first thing that we need to do on this project is we are going to go ahead, and I'm going to first show you how to do it with the Cricut cartridge. So we're going to hit insert image, and we're going to look up through the all images, we're going to look up a giraffe. and we're going to hit search. And I found quite a few giraffes here, and I like this one because he kind of looks like a younger giraffe, and it has all of the features. So we'll hit insert images, or insert image, excuse me. And with this, all we're going to want to use is the shadow. So we're going to remove everything else, and we just want the shadow. So we'll use this shadow in this case. Okay, and we'll go ahead, and what we want to do is we want to kind of offset this. So to have it kind of go off of the circle, because we are going to put another circle behind it. So what we'll do is we want to actually go ahead and mirror this, and we'll switch it to the side because I like it a little bit better on this side. And we'll just put, let's just say we'll just put him right here. Right here off to the side. Perfect. Okay, and we can make him larger or smaller, however you would like. I'll make him just a little bit bigger here so we can see him a little bit better. And we'll just put him right there, and we can see that obviously that is a giraffe. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add some text, and we're going to put, this is going to be our first one, so we'll put 1 month. Now over here in the edit text portion, we do want to go ahead and we want to center this so that it's centered together on our circle. And we want to go to the line spacing, and we're going to make that a little bit, you know, smaller, so that because what that's going to do, excuse me, the line spacing is down here. We were doing letter spacing. The letter spacing will bring those letters closer together, which we want as well. And then the line spacing will make that 1 come down closer to the month. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and we'll drag this over here. We're going to make this just a little bit smaller, and the way that we're going to do that is I like to use these tools down here that say the height and width, but you can also use this you know, up here that will actually make the font size smaller. So that looks pretty good for now, and what I want to do is I want to change the font. You can do that right here in the edit section. Now it's going to show a lot of different fonts here that would be part of the subscription. So I'm going to just use one that I think is kind of fun, and also you want to use one that's kind of a little bit chunky, if that makes sense, a little bit of a thicker font, because the thicker that the font is, the easier it's going to cut out. Now again, if you did see the photograph that I posted yesterday, you can cut out things that are super duper intricate with the Cricut Explore. But in this case, we don't want anything that's really, really super duper intricate, excuse me, because this is something that's going to be worn obviously by, you know, a very small little baby. So I like the Nate's ABCs. I think it's a lot of fun. And now that we've changed the font, this month looks like it's a little too close together for me. So we're going to go to the letter spacing, and we are going to bump that up a little bit so that the month spreads out a little bit, because we do want it to be a little bit more substantial on our piece here. Then we'll move this over, and I think that that looks great. So now, in order to have this all cut out together, and I will show you on the finished, you know, piece in the beginning, and this will make a little bit more sense to you. We want to make sure that first everything is synced together, and we're going to make sure that all of this, you know, is synced together. And again, you wanna kind of make sure that you know everything is placed in the right spot, because once I go, you know, and move this up, it is going to change all to the same color. But luckily, we can still see the outlines here. It may be very faint, but we can see them. And now what I'll do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to select everything that you see here, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to hit attach. Now, once we attach all of these pieces together, what that means to us is that everything is going to cut out together. So when I hit go here, and I'll go ahead and I'll show you that. Once I hit go, you're going to see that all of this is going to be cut out together. Now, one more thing that we will need for this is we are going to need an additional circle to put underneath of this circle. Now, this was a 4" by 4", so we're going to do a 4.5", and I did show you again how to go ahead and do that in the original video, because we are going to layer this, because we are going to be using 2 different fabrics. So we're just going to look up that circle again. We're going to pull up our free circle which is, we're going to want to go to My Images under Circle, because then it will give us our images that are free that we're able to use. And we'll go ahead and we'll select this one. But actually, now that I'm looking at this, I think that I might like the scallop on the outside a little bit better. So we'll select this one, and we'll go ahead and we will do this at a 4.5, because we do want it to be a little bit larger than the circle that's underneath, or the circle that's on top, excuse me. And we'll go ahead and we'll take that and we'll hit our arrange button again, and we'll say move backward. And then once we pull this up, we will be able to see that that circle is going to fit perfectly over top of that. Now, don't worry about this excess that's right here, because we do want, we're going to get rid of this part of the giraffe here. We just want this part of the head and face. So now what we're going to do is we're going to start this, kind of start over again, but we're going to use an image that we had pulled out. So we're going to go ahead and I will do it on this circle, and I'll just show you how we can do that with any image. So we're going to hit our upload image button, and let me go ahead and type in all of my information here. That may be why it said my subscription is up, because I don't believe that it is, but let's go ahead here and we'll do upload image. We'll continue to step 1. We'll browse. We want to go ahead and we want to grab those jungle animals. And I just love these jungle animals. So we're going to hit simple image, continue to step 2. And this is where that cropping tool that we were talking about is going to work out. I apologize for my dogs. We're going to use the cropping tool here. So we're going to get rid of all of that white in the background. And for this one, we just want this giraffe. So we're going to take our cropping tool. We're going to make sure that we just have our giraffe selected, and that will just give us our giraffe. Want to take a look at this line? This is a perfect cut. So we're going to hit that again. We're going to go to continue to step 3, and we're going to save this one just as giraffe. And again, what you're able to do is you're able to go in and do this 3 more times, and you can save those other images the same way. So we'll hit our insert image button, and now we have our new baby giraffe. So what we're going to do is going to resize this. Resize this, make this bigger. And this is the one that we're going to go ahead and we're going to use on our scallop. And again, this is just an example. This is not, the way that I'm going to cut out this scallop. I just want to show you another variation of how to do this. So what we would do is we would go ahead and, again, just like we did before, we'd go ahead and we would attach all these layers together. We would add the 1 month here, and everything would be good to go and ready to cut. Now, the version that I'm going to show you that I did, I actually used the animals that I found online, as opposed to the animals in the on the Cricut cartridges, just because I thought they were a little bit more defined, because I am just using the shadows from these. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump over. I'm going to show you how we're going to get the fabric prepared to actually put it on the Cricut mat, and we're going to cut it out, and then I will show you the following steps after. Thanks. Okay, and we're back, everyone. And I actually figured out a better way to kind of rig the camera so that you can see me a little bit better, and so that everything is closer. Until I find my cord for my regular camera, we are going to have to do it this way with the phone, but I don't think it's that terrible. So what we're going to do is, first I want to show you, these are the onesies that I use. They are just called the Onesies brand by Gerber. I got these at Walmart, and I think that they were like $7 for 3 of them. And I'm starting with the 0 to 3 months. And my little niece or nephew is going to be born in October, so I made sure to get the ones that have the mitten cuffs. So mine are long sleeve, but yours don't necessarily have to be the long sleeve ones. They can be the short sleeve ones. So this is our onesie. And we're just going to take, a look at it and make sure that everything is straightened out and ready to go. And what we'll do is, we are not actually going to iron this yet, but we will iron it beforehand. And what you want to do is you want to go ahead and you want to take a ruler once you get your onesie, because they are different, different sizes, and you want to measure things out here. Now, this one is about 6.5 inches across, and to the center it's about let's say about 6 inches down to where you know, the body of the baby will be. So that's why I did choose the 5.5 by 5.5 and then 5 inches. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to take our mat, and this is where everything was cut out from, and you can take a look and see how beautifully this cuts out. Now when I put my fabric, so let's actually start there. When I put my fabric onto the mat, first thing that I do is I use this heat bond material. It actually, the red means the Ultra Bond or the Ultra Hold, and I get this as well from Walmart. It comes on a big long roll. I do not have it down here. I actually have it upstairs in the other room, but it comes in a big long roll. I suggest buying the giant roll. I believe it's only $10, and you get a ton. Now what I do is I go ahead and I make huge sheets of fabric. As you can see, this was originally what I had cut out from, but I use this heat bond and I make big giant sheets of fabric so that I don't have to continue going up and re-ironing and things of that nature. So I make these huge sheets, and what I discovered today, and this is fantastic, is if you keep this paper on here, and this is just for this step, you keep this paper on here, and we go ahead and we take our Cricut cutter. Now you can use any cutter that you want, Fiskars or whatever it is, you know, that you use, and we take this and we go ahead and we line the fabric up on here, and when the backing is still on this fabric, this is fantastic, watch, it will cut it. It's just absolutely amazing to me that is able to cut that, because I was using this rotary tool that I actually got, I believe, from Walmart or Joann's, and this is a great tool. It, you know, slices and goes through the fabric perfectly, but it is something that takes a lot more time. And if you want to, you know, get a lot of things done like I want to get done, because I have tons and tons and tons of ideas, you want something that's going to speed that up for you. So again, we went ahead and used that cutter, and you are able to cut it as long as you keep the paper backing on the back. Now, what I do before I go ahead and I place this on my mat is I always take off this backing, and there'll still be a shiny part here. Now, a lot of videos, they will tell you to keep the backing on. I prefer to take the backing off because it still is very easy, as you saw earlier, for me to pull this up. And also, this backing hates to come off of your Cricut mat. You can see a lot of little pieces here, and that is from where I forgot to take this backing off. So you want to take this backing off, and you'll see that there is a clear, that is the adhesive that you're going to be ironing down, is still on there. And I cut myself just a ton of little pieces after I discovered that the cutter will actually cut it out. I was just cutting them like there was no tomorrow because it was just so much easier. So again, to review the steps, you want to go ahead and iron this on to a large piece of fabric. And again, it's very simple to iron on. You can tell which side has the glue on it, you iron it on, and then you're going to cut little, you know, the smaller pieces out of this giant piece. And then we're going to go ahead and we put our pieces on here. Now, I did the exact same thing that I did in my original first video. I put the one piece up here and then the other piece down here, because this is what we want to actually cut out of the green, and this is what we want to cut out of the yellow. So again, this is just it's just amazing how it cuts out this fabric. And this is our green piece, obviously, that we're going to use on the bottom. And then this here, and this is where I want to show you what I meant by the attaching the layers. So as you can see here, the elephant, which is actually the one that we are going to do, I did an elephant for the 3 months. You see, it did cut out his leg and, you know, his back tail, but that actually got cut over by the circle. So that's what that attaching will do. And now what we'll do is we'll go ahead and we will take out the inside. Now you can use your weeding tool, you can use whatever tool that you use. I use a weeding tool, you know, even again on the fabric. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to pull out that elephant part. Now this is something that, again, you could use for something else. It's so cute. I'm sure that you could find a use for this that will go in my scrap bin. So then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and pull up the rest of our image here. Now there are some areas, because I actually cut this out on such a small scale, that it did not cut out everything absolutely 100, percent done. And it's only 2 tiny little spaces, and this has actually happened on the other 2 that I did. The first one, this did not happen because I believe I had the letters a little bit larger, but all we're going to do, this is very easy peasy, is you can actually see the line. It just did not go all the way through, probably because the fabric shifted a little bit, and the fabric does shift a little bit on the mat, only because this mat that I'm using is not a brand new mat, but it is a newer mat, so that's why, it is staying on there pretty well. But again, no harm, no foul. We just cut that out very easily with our scissors, and it literally takes 2 seconds. I don't have my tiny, oh, yes I do. I usually use these tiny little scissors whenever I'm doing this, only because I want to make sure that everything is cut out perfectly. And again, it's so simple to cut these pieces out. It's not like we're cutting out the entire image like you would have to do if you did not have a Cricut machine. You are just simply, helping this along. And I think also sometimes the glue from the back does actually prevent it from cutting out all the way as well. So it's just going to depend on how it cuts that day. But here we go. We have our 3 months, and we'll go ahead and we'll actually put that on top of the green so you can see exactly how that looks. It's my iron telling me that it's going to shut off. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to place that on top there. Now, in this instance, there are 2 more pieces that I want to grab from my mat. Normally, you would not have these extra pieces, but I like having this extra piece down here because that kind of shows that there's a leg on the elephant. And of course, for the negative of the O, we want to go ahead and we want to grab that from our mat, and we're going to put that in the center of the O once we do that. So let's move these little pieces to the side, and we're going to take our iron, and we're going to first iron the actual onesie. Now, what I must suggest, because I have actually had to replace my very good iron, is going ahead and getting a great craft iron. Now again, by great, I mean this was, I think, $8 or $10 from my neighborhood. You'll never believe, at Aldi store they had them, because sometimes they have the housewares, and I use that now for all of my crafting because I don't want to use my good expensive iron for that. Now what we're going to do is you want to iron that first so it's a little bit warm, and then we're just going to take the iron again, and we're going to go ahead and we are going to just iron this down. Now, I have seen also a lot of videos, and I've actually, done it myself, where you can go ahead and you can sew this down after you are done to make sure that it gets a very, very good, a good bond and it stays on there. Now, in our case, what we're going to do is we're not going to worry about that sewing, because these little shirts, or these little onesies, excuse me, generally are only used once because it's showing for one picture, and they're not really going to be doing a lot in this. But as you can see, this stays on very, very well. And also, I suggest using the, if you can, a 100% cotton or some sort of cotton fabric, because this fabric is now going to move with our onesie. And again, this is not something that's going to be worn, and no one's going to be running around or anything like that in it, so we will be just fine with this adhesion, as opposed to putting on some sort of other glue or anything like that. So now we're just going to position that on, and this is very similar, if you notice, to my vinyl tutorial. It's very simple once you get everything cut out. And again, you just want to place everything on here just like we did with our vinyl, but in this case we're ironing. So it's just one extra kind of little step, but it's nothing that's, that's going to be crazy. It's nothing that we have to do a whole bunch of get different materials and things like that. It's something that's, very easy. Now we want to use that extra heat to our advantage, because we do want to have this kind of stick a little bit before we go ahead and place it on. And by stick a little bit, I mean once you have that that iron that's pressed onto here, that residual heat is going to get that glue started. So that kind of helps us a little bit whenever we have these smaller pieces. But the smaller pieces as well, I kind of see that they kind of stay down a little bit better. Not better, but they stay down, what's the word I'm looking for? They kind of bond completely with the fabric underneath of it, because it is, you know, a smaller piece. Now we want to make sure that before we do anything and we move this around or do anything of that nature, we want to make sure that this is completely cooled. Now you can see that I am pressing this on my one of my cutting mats. This mat actually became my iron pressing cutting mat because I pressed on it so many times that it has actually kind of melted inside. It does lay down completely flat once it cools off, but I did use this just as my ironing mat whenever I'm ironing. I obviously use it still for cutting as well, but this is the only mat that I'll use for ironing. I have that giant mat, the magnetic mat, that I usually use for paperwork and things like that when I'm cutting paper, but this is what I'll use for my iron. So again, we are good to go. We'll give it one more press. And you also, once this has been completely cooled, you want to turn this inside out and you want to press it again. Now, I know that I'm telling you not to work with it, not to play with it, but as you can see, you know, if you do have to lift it up or do something, the bond does happen very, very quickly. So there we go. That is our completed little shirt here. If you have any other questions, of course, you can go ahead and you can comment below, or you can send me a direct message on YouTube or on Facebook, and I will answer those for you. But I hope that this tutorial helped you out, and I hope that you go ahead and start making your own. Have a great day. Bye-bye.